Now, after a year of disastrous policy losses and controversy that could rival a reality show on A&E, how does Trump's loyal base of support feel about their vote for Donald Trump? Well, I've got two words: no regrets. This is according to a Politico Morning Consult poll conducted on the eve of the first anniversary of Trump's election. According to the poll, 82% of those who say they supported Trump would vote for him again if they had to do it over. They are still with their man. That is actually more than those who say that they would vote for Hillary Clinton again if given the chance. So, look, I understand the Trump support. I do. I get it. They're with their guy, right? But the Clinton support, really? Hillary Clinton lost to a reality show buffoon. I mean, I guess if we only had the two choices, then, well, we would end up with the same result, as even less people would vote for Hillary Clinton than the Trump people. That's crazy. So, again, a wonderful poll result. It just shows that even if we go back and do the same thing again, we're still going to have the same result. Sad. According to Politico, Trump supporters have largely rallied around the president despite his poor overall ratings, the chaos of the first year in office, and the ongoing investigation into Russia. Now, all of which, of course, a lot of Trump supporters will call fake news anyway. So, now I want to go to something interesting. See, Politico actually talked to some Trump supporters in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. It's a big Trump area, voted overwhelmingly for the president. And so they decided to talk to people and ask, like, hey, do you still support Trump and why? Well, here's what one person said. Quote, "Everybody I talk to realizes it's not Trump who's dragging his feet. Trump's probably the most diligent, hardest working president we've ever had in our lifetimes. It's not like he sleeps until noon and goes golfing every weekend like the last president did." Wait, what? What? Okay, wow. Look, I can't even respond to that. I don't know how to respond to that. It's so utterly fact-free. I mean, look, again, the thing about President Obama is super wrong. Now, you could probably make an argument that Trump's maybe trying, and it wouldn't be a great argument, but you can make an argument, right? But Trump being the hardest working president in our lifetime, come on, dude, really? Really? People believe that? I don't know how, but they believe it. Okay. And look, let me just say something, okay? I've been on Twitter, making fun of people over Twitter. That's not work. That doesn't count. Watching cable news for 6 hours a day. That's not work, okay? Look, I have a guess. Maybe all those people that this reporter talked to just happens to watch Fox News. Just saying. Now, the reporter had actually stopped him and said, hey, wait a minute. Yes, I concede that President Obama did like to go golfing once in a while. However, President Trump, and it's documented, that he has actually been golfing a lot more than President Obama. Now, that person was apparently surprised and said, quote, "Does he?" Yes. The reporter writes, he did not linger on this topic, smiling and changing his subject with a quip. He said, quote, "If I was married to his wife, I don't think I'd go anywhere." Yeah, you know what I mean? Melania, yeah. Classic deflection. Amazing. Once more, there's a woman who asked that, there's a woman who, when asked, said that she voted for Trump and had been pleased with her choice. Now, she was asked how things had improved since the election, right? What was her answer? You're going to love this. Quote, "A lot of more patriotism and everything like that." So how has your life gotten better? Patriotism? And like stuff and everything like that. Holy shit. So basically what they're saying is, nothing has improved, but that's okay, I guess, because it's our guy. Hashtag MAGA. Oh boy. Look, this kind of reminds me of somebody who's a football fan of a team that really is really bad. I have some experience with that growing up. I live in Michigan, Detroit. Okay. Look, maybe that team gets lucky once in a while, but normally they get crushed every Sunday, right? Now, those teams, they still have diehard fans. Of course. My dad was a Lions fan, is a Lions fan. So we get it. I get it. And if it's one thing I've learned from knowing people who like football, is that you don't abandon your team, no matter how hard they happen to suck. This feels like kind of the same thing. No, trust me. Yeah, they may suck, but it's not their fault. It was bad calls. The coaches are bad. In this case, for Trump, media is bad. Oh, look at how bad the Democrats are beating up on him. Wait a minute, I thought the Democrats were weak. Weird. And yet somehow they're simultaneously an incredibly strong force that President Trump just can't seem to beat. Weird. But look, again, we cannot admit that President Trump sucks at being president because he has no idea what he's doing. I can't abandon the team, so I'm going to blame the media. I'm going to blame fake news, Democrats, Jeff Flake, Obama, Hillary, spirit cooking, all that stuff. Now, to be absolutely 100% fair, I have noticed this with Clinton supporters as well. Die-hard Hillary Clinton supporters, right? Who, at a rate of 90%, would also vote for Hillary Clinton again. Now, Hillary Clinton, she also sucked. I'm not saying she would have been a horrible president. No, she would have been better. She would have been very pro-establishment, though, which means no change. She would continue the same policies as Obama, which would mean more, continuing the drone wars, which, by the way, Donald Trump has not only continued, but ramped up. So much so that it's caused even more civilian casualties. So more innocent people are being killed by the drones. But look, I don't want to sit there and compare. I don't want to sit there and be like, oh, Hillary would have been so much better. I don't want to get into that discussion. But look, the point is that I think that there's diehard supporters of both sides that refuse to call out the candidate's weaknesses. Hillary Clinton, of course, too establishment, too close to Wall Street, big corporations, takes too much money from the banks, etc., pushes out neoliberal corporate policy that actually ends up killing the middle class. And then you have Trump, who's a completely incompetent buffoon who may have sold out the country in order to make an extra buck. So, and yet we've got people on both sides, hashtag MAGA, and I'm with her. It's crazy. It's insane. Me, I support Bernie Sanders. Not simply because he's Bernie Sanders, but because I actually do believe in the policies. I actually think he's right. And there is a record of him standing by those policies and actually pushing for them through his entire career. But it's not about personality, okay? With Donald Trump and with Hillary Clinton, I actually do think it's a lot about a cult of personality. And I don't understand it. But anyway, I want to go back to the poll here. Now, just because a majority of Trump supporters seem to have his back, that doesn't necessarily mean that's a majority of the country. So let's make that distinction right here. According to a poll among all voters, a generic unnamed Democrat now beats Trump 46 to 36%, with 18% undecided. Now imagine if that Democrat were Hillary Clinton. I'm pretty sure we would end up seeing Trump win again. Just saying. She's really bad and very, very unpopular. Now, in another recent survey, a CNN poll conducted by the firm SSRS found that 62% of registered voters say that Trump does not deserve to be reelected in 2020. Only 35% of voters say he deserves reelection. So that, of course, is another losing margin. Oh, boy. Now, in another finding that is disastrous for the Trump administration, voters have questions about whether Trump will even complete his term in office. You have a slim majority, 52%, that think it's likely that Trump completes his 4-year term as president. 37% say that it's likely that he will leave office early. Now, if you break it down, obviously, Hillary Clinton supporters think that he'll leave early, about 66%. However, 85% of Trump voters think, no, he'll be here for the long haul. We'll see. We'll see. Now they also get into, and it's something that I alluded to earlier, whether or not people feel that they're actually better off under the Trump administration. Now, just a quarter, 26% say, yes, we're better off. Okay, interesting. 28% say they're actually worse off. 41% say that their financial situation is about the same. So, again, it's like, we voted for change, but really hasn't had a whole lot. According to Chief Research Officer for Morning Consult and co-founder Kyle Drop, says, quote, voters who support Trump have a markedly sunnier outlook on their own financial situation than those who don't, despite the fact that not a lot has changed. Among those voters who strongly approve of the president, 41% say that they're actually doing better off financially than they were last year. Among voters who strongly disapprove, that number falls to about 18%. But see, here's the thing, right? Here's the question. Are you actually doing financially better? Or, I mean, because like the reason that I asked that is because we even seen any policy? I know that Trump has done a lot of executive orders and things like that, but that's mostly rolling back President Obama's climate change regulations, which haven't had a whole lot of impact on the economy, as a lot of those rules hadn't even gone into effect at all. And of course, a lot of those have to do with the coal industry, which at this point is still dying. So has he really done anything? Has he really, has the economy really changed since President Obama? I mean, we're still running on President Obama's economic policies. I mean, come on. That's why they're in such a rush to do tax reform, by the way, so-called tax reform, these tax cuts on the rich, so they can actually start to impact the economy. Now, I happen to think it'll be a negative, but there's a lot of people that are convinced, like, no, don't worry. If we just give more tax cuts to the rich, it'll trickle down, and then the economy will get better. Yeah, good luck with that. But anyway, so change, right? Now, there's a lot of people who see him as a change agent, right? Well, it depends on who you ask. More voters say that Trump is changing the federal government for the worse. That's about 40%. 34% say he's changed it for the better. 16% of voters say that Trump isn't changing the government much at all. And I am part of that 16% because I don't see change. I see the same old policies. I just see somebody who's incredibly unfit sitting in the chair. I guess maybe we have changed our dialogue and maybe we have changed our rules of civility in office, but I haven't really seen any policy type changes. What has he done? I mean, he has done one thing that's significant for conservatives, and he, of course, appointed Judge Gorsuch. Now, Gorsuch, of course, is, in my view, not very conservative. I actually think he's incredibly corporatist. So, hey, look at that. His only achievement is to appoint a judge who is, somebody who's going to give the corporations and the rich everything they want. Wow, we're really winning here, feels like. But look, these results are among Trump supporters, I think, are pretty expected among a group of people who had been constantly lied to and misled by their media of choice. That's right-wing media, which is the original fake news. And it's pretty obvious that when you talk to people who support Trump, that they don't know the basic facts about what's going on, about governance. Either that or they don't believe it because, hey, it's from the New York Times, it's all from these liberal outlets, these super, super far left newspapers and all that stuff. Look, calling the New York Times liberal, pretty laughable. New York Times, Washington Post, Politico, a lot of those outlets they do have a bias. That's an establishment bias. But they do also have to report on things that are real. Now, you can spin things that are real. That's fine. And different news outlets will put a lot of spin on their news. But when it comes to actually acknowledging that there are facts, Well, they tend to acknowledge that. Okay. And look, unfortunately for them, conservative, I'm sorry, liberal, facts have a liberal bias. So, but what this does point out, though, and I think it's very interesting, is that we do have this divide in the country, and it's not so much between Republicans and Democrats, it's actually between people who believe in facts and people who don't. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.